Hey you! Yeah, you watching this video. Chances are you're watching this for one of three reasons. Either one, you're my friend Ryan and I finally convinced you to try Destiny after all of these years. Two, maybe you haven't played Destiny in a while and you have no idea what to do. Or three, you're a returning Destiny veteran who just wants to see what's new with the game. Destiny is an online FPS looter shooter with a focus on build crafting. You play the game, get better loot, and make a better kit. This includes the weapons and armors you use, the different abilities you have, and the experience completing different activities. Destiny, more specifically Destiny 2, has gone through multiple changes over its lifetime. And in this video, I will guide you through the first initial grind of Zero to Hero. Before we hop into this video too far, I just want to ask you to subscribe if you haven't already. I've been making more videos from time to time, and this is a new video format that I'm trying to do, so let me know if you want more Destiny 2 related videos on this channel. Leave a like or add a comment below because it helps me understand what you guys like, what you guys don't like. I try to respond to everyone, but yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Chances are when you started the game you were put into some activity without knowing anything that you're doing. If this is your first time playing, then you were probably sent out on the New Light quest and already have selected your class. On the other hand, you might have been thrust into a new expansion campaign, or at least the introduction mission. In which case, I'm sorry. Luckily, you can pull out your Dinglebot and go back to orbit and save that mission for later. There are three different classes in the game, where there isn't one objectively better choice, but it all boils down to personal preferences. Titans are melee focused, hunters are movement focused, and warlocks are skill focused. If you want my 2 cents, the Titans are arguably the easiest in the game to pick up and play, but look at that Guardian. It's day 69 in the Ghost House, and your ghost named Ghost chose you. Chose you for what? Chose you to be a Guardian of the Traveler. What's the Traveler? There's no time for that. Just play through the tutorial missions that show you the basics like, these weapons deal damage to these enemies. Eventually, this dude Shaw will give you a spaceship and you can go to the tower, which is the main central hub of the game. After a few unavoidable cutscenes, you've probably seen that you have loot. Loot is the name of the game, but after opening your inventory, you probably notice a lot of big numbers and menus everywhere. There's a quest tab, and a journey tab, and that shows other quests, but there's also a portal. I thought Bungie made Destiny, not Valve. Whoa, slow it down there, fella. You don't want to be overwhelmed so soon. That big yellow number you see in your inventory is your power level, and that works as your IT to get into the bars of Destiny, the bars being higher level endgame content. Think of that as the sign outside the roller coaster that says you need to be this high to ride this ride. From level 10 to level 200, any loot you get will objectively be better than what you currently have. If you have a helmet that's worth level 120 power, then the next helmet you get will be most likely higher than 120 power. There are different stats for weapons and armor, but we'll look at that later. The key thing to remember is that you want to get that power level as high as possible. Hopefully by now you've made it to the tower, and we're first going to see Ikora Ray, who will become your new best friend. They help in upgrading your main 3 subclasses for money. Glimmer is the main currency that you get in the game for doing literally everything. Taking out an enemy, finishing a mission, completing a quest, it all gives you Glimmer. Right off the bat you have access to 3 different subclasses. Arc does electric stuff, Solar does fire stuff, and Void does purple space magic stuff. Each subclass has its own supers, grenades, melees, aspects, and fragments that you can build the best loadout possible. This should be one of your first main goals when it comes to starting in Destiny 2. Making our way back, we're going to come over to the Vault and Exotic Vault. The Vault is a place that you can put weapons and armor that you don't plan on using. Since loot is the name of the game, you'll be given a lot of it. And you can't hold on to everything, but there will be a part of your brain that will be sad if you dismantle something. So that's why you have the Vault. Next to the Vault is the Exotic Vault. Exotics are a massive part of the game. You can only equip one exotic weapon and one exotic armor at a time, which adds to the build crafting nature of the game. There are a handful of exotics available through the kiosk for Glimmer and other materials. These other materials can include exotic ciphers, which are relatively rare but usually available once each week for free. if you have the Forsaken expansion, you should have access to, I think, 3 exotic Forsaken ciphers that give you free guns right off the rip. So they're good thing to use, you know? At this point of the game, you should try to figure out what your end goal of the game is. Why are you playing the game? Are you playing so that way you can get all of the achievements? Are you playing to do the endgame raid and dungeon content? Are you playing to collect all the exotics or get a brand spanking new title? There are a lot of different choices, but setting a goal for yourself helps direct you in what you need to do to get to that end goal. Wait, so you're telling me I can do anything in the game right now and get better loot? Well, that's a good way of putting it, but for sure. What is the best thing to do in Destiny? That might be a very subjective thing to ask, but there are a couple different suggestions here. The first thing I would look into is quests. Quests generate the never-ending supply of direction and dopamine once I do the deed. Some quests are as easy as talk to some random dude, other quests put you on a 24-length multi-part quest. It's all what you want to play. Other fun things to do in Destiny include expansion story missions, Nightfall Strikes, Dares of Eternity, Onslaught, Iron Banner, all leading to dungeons and raids. Dungeons and raids are the cream of the crop as for endgame activities and can drop the finest loot this side of the Mississippi. But those activities are a bit too difficult for a blueberry such as yourself, so you have a ways to go until you reach that point. If you have any or all of the expansions or DLCs, that would be the best place to start, as it gives you some bona fide loot and more quests for bigger, better loot. You have Forsaken, Shadowkeep, Beyond Light, Witch Queen, Lightfall, and Final Shape to discover. Not all of these are the best or great, to be honest, but 2 great ones to play through include the Witch Queen and Final Shape expansions, which really go peak for story content from over the years. Beyond Light and Lightfall are basically only good for the new subclasses added to the game. Wait, there are more than 3 subclasses? Yes, dummy! You have the basic 3, Arc, Solar, and Void. You also have 3 wonky ones. Stasis, which is ice, Strand, which is weird green space magic, and Prismatic, which is an amalgamation of all other subclasses. This all adds to the build crafting element of the game. Some of these expansions allow for a legendary difficulty version which has tougher enemies but better loot, and honestly it's a lot more fun in my opinion. At the end of playing through a legendary campaign, you have a guaranteed exotic armor drop for your selected class. And after beating any campaign, you get more quests to do that expand the world at that given time. And if you don't feel like doing something, you don't have to do everything the game tells you to do. If something becomes unfun or annoying, just move on to something else for the time being. That's future you's problem, not yours. Wait, it's the weekend. Looks like Zur is in town and selling prime real estate. If exotics are what you fancy, then maybe Zur will become your best friend as well. On the weekends, you can find Zur selling exotics from weapons, armor, engrams, ciphers, yes, those things you need to buy for specific ones in the exotic kiosk, where he needs strange coins to buy anything. Strange coins can be found from doing different activities like Strike, Crucible, or endgame random world drops. How will you know what good weapons are and what good armor you should work towards? Weapons you have that power level, but also have their own stats and perks. Realistically, early on, none of this is going to matter, and you should prioritize looking for weapons that you enjoy using above all else. The 3 different types of weapons you can use include primary, special, and heavy. Primary are your auto rifles, hand cannons, and scout rifles. Special are your sniper rifles, shotguns, fusion rifles, etc., and have those green ammo bricks that drop from enemies. And then heavy weapons include rocket launchers and machine guns, and take those bulky purple guys that are typically harder to find than special ammo bricks. Similar to weapons, you can have armor that has its own perks and stats. Early on, none of your armor is going to matter, but if you find something that has a base stat total of over 65, it might be worth keeping. Your base stat total? What is this, Pokemon? Look, in Destiny, there are several different factors that contribute to your longevity. Stats like super, melee, grenade, and class impact your recharge of those abilities. Health impacts how much health and resistance you have, while weapons impact the max damage you can do with certain weapons. Weapons and armor can be upgraded, increasing their stats with, you guessed it, Glimmer! You'll also need materials later down the road, but that doesn't matter right now. You can also put mods on your weapons and armor to improve specific traits. For example, you can add a mod to your robes that increase your grenade stat, and then have another mod that gives you grenade recharge after taking someone out with a melee ability. Mods stack, and they stack quick. You can either min-max everything available, or you can play as you go, and add drop mods as you need, which I think works pretty well until you start doing endgame Strike or Crucible content. I've mentioned Strikes and Crucible enough for you to ask the question, what are those? Strikes are common 3-player activities that usually involve 3 combat encounters with some main boss at the end. Each week there's a strike that's set as the weekly Nightfall strike, meaning it has more difficult enemies and game modifiers that make the game a little more difficult to manage. The peak for strike content is a Grandmaster Nightfall, which imposes some heavy restrictions and forces you to work with 2 other Guardians to survive and win. Commander Zavala manages the Strike and Vanguard related missions at the tower. Guardian, I need you to hit the gritty on some Vex. It is imperative to our mission. That was me trying to do a Zavala impression. You're welcome, internet. Very bad, I know. I'm gonna reach out to my friend and get him to get some Zavala lines for you.
Guardian, someone line.
Guardian, we've received reports of the Vex trying to bust down on Nessus. I need you to get in there, hit the gritty on them, and prove to them they have no moves.
Crucible is this game's version of PvP, which has the same game modes you would expect from any online shooter, but with different names, because it's not cool to call things the way they are anymore. The peak for Crucible content is Trials, which is a ranked game mode where your wins help you get bonus loot at the end of doing 7 games in a row. Shax is the man you need to talk to for any Crucible need, and Saint 14 is in charge of all Trials needs. Chances are you found these weird hexagonal boxes called engrams. Think of these as loot boxes that include, you guessed it, loot! You can get weapons, armor, exotic gear, and even currency materials. You'll get these drops from completing different activities. The different activities you end up doing have some meaning behind them. The left tab of your inventory shows your journey, which keeps track of your Guardian rank and triumphs. Your Guardian rank shows the different difficult activities you've completed, from portal content to nightfalls and raids. Each rank has its own set of requirements, which over time become more difficult. This works as like a stepping stone of the different type of stuff you should be working on to progress your character. Triumphs are similar to Guardian ranks, but each triumph is associated with a specific expansion or endgame activity. After completing all the tasks for a triumph, you receive a little title that you can equip to your Guardian. For example, I have the Iron Lord title, which means I've played way too much Iron Banner. No, I don't hate myself that much, why do you ask? The latest introduction to the game is the Portal. This is seen as a quick play launcher for different activities such as solo ops, fireteam ops, pinnacle ops, and crucible ops. Different activities give you different potential loot with the listed bonus prize. This is Bungie's attempt to finding stuff in the game that makes it a little easier and more widespread. Missions are repetitive for sure, but more options for loot is always appreciated, and this is a welcome change. I wish you all a good journey in your Destiny 2 careers. I feel like Destiny is great in small doses from time to time, but it's important not to burn yourself out too quick by rushing through the game. Playing with friends is highly encouraged, but there are plenty of Discords, forums, LFG sites that will help hook you up with the right person looking to do exactly what you want to do at this very moment. The Traveler knows how much time I've put into Destiny 1 and 2 respectively, and even though the game has changed so much, it's still fun to hop on and see what new shape Bungie is cooking up. I hope it's a trapezoid next time.